Shakespeare, the Bard, perhaps the greatest playwright of all time. Classics like Macbeth, King Lear, and Hamlet. But the burning question is, what did Shakespeare like for breakfast? Well, the evidence points to pancakes, of course. He made reference to pancakes in several of his plays. So if it's comforting for Bill, it's good enough for us. Today, buttermilk pancakes with buttered honey syrup, and also baked eggs with spinach, bacon, and tomato jam. My kingdom for a pancake. I'm Garret Schack, and today, that's what we're cooking on the coast. For a pancake. Shakespeare liked his pancakes. He mentioned them in several of his plays. So to comfort the Bard today, it's buttermilk pancakes with buttered honey syrup and also baked eggs with spinach, bacon, and tomato jam. Let's get started. Okay, we've got a bunch of stuff on the counter here already. First thing we want to do, get our buttermilk pancake mixture ready to go here. So dry ingredients go into the bowl first. I've got some flour, some baking soda, some baking powder, sugar. We want to get those all mixed nicely into our fancy little bowl here. In we go with the flour. I'll add the sugar next. And then baking soda and baking powder. So these two ingredients here are going to help give us our fluffiness in the pancakes and help them rise up a little bit. Quick-acting rising ingredients. In fact, the baking soda actually helps sort of soften that the flavor of the buttermilk a little bit and makes the pancakes taste just that much better. Give it a good whisk. It's okay at this stage. We're going to let this pancake batter rest just for a few seconds or a few minutes afterwards, about 30 minutes or so. So it's okay to kind of whisk it really well together. We don't have to worry about developing the starches here. That's all right. Make sure it's well incorporated. Now we're going to start adding our wet ingredients. We have buttermilk. You can see sort of the consistency of it. It is a little bit thicker than regular sort of homogenized milk. In it goes. Adds a really nice sort of sweet and sour texture or flavor to our pancakes. I'm just going to tuck that out of the way here. Next up, our eggs. Now, a lot of recipes will say, do your wet ingredients in one bowl, your dry in another. That creates a lot of dishes for me at home, so I don't bother with that. Do it all right here in the same one. Okay. Now we want to add our melted butter. So I have some melted butter on the stove over here it's already melted and it's had a chance to cool down just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and add that right in. We don't want to waste any butter. That stuff's delicious. I do like to add just a pinch of salt. Just a pinch. Kind of enhances all the flavors in our pancakes here. Give it a good mix. Again, we're going to let this rest for a few minutes while we get started on some other things. So it's okay to really give it a good solid whisk. Looks great. Now we're going to set this to the side for a second and get started on our tomato jam because it takes a little bit of time just to get reducing. So I've got a pan started over here. Just going to crank the heat up a little bit on that bad boy. There we go. Got a bunch of diced tomatoes. This is a great way at the end of the sort of tomato season to actually use up some of those really ripe tomatoes that are ripening on the vines. And then we're just going to slice up this onion as fine as we can without losing any fingers. There we go. Again, like I was saying, at the end of the tomato season, it's great to be able to use up those ripe tomatoes. You know, when they're starting to get just a little bit mushy, but they're really bright red and have tons of flavor, it's perfect. Okay, let's get these onions into the pan. In we go. Get the heat going even higher here. So we're multitasking here. There's lots happening. I'm going to turn the heat on our honey and start warming that up. We want to incorporate the butter into the honey to make our syrup. We don't want to scorch the honey. We just want to soften it so that when we go to whisk in the butter, it's a little easier to manage. Okay, our onions are coming along nicely. Start adding the rest of our ingredients. We got all those diced ripe tomatoes. In we go. Lovely. Clear a few things away here. And at this stage, we can start adding the rest of our ingredients to make this this tomato jam. So I have some brown sugar, about a cup's worth of brown sugar for that was eight really ripe tomatoes. So I got a cup's worth of brown sugar. In it goes. Might seem like a lot, but it's jam after all. So that's all good. Stir it in really well. I like to add a chunk of rosemary, so I've got some lovely fresh rosemary out of the garden here. Stem and everything, fire right in. Some salt. Some fresh cracked pepper. Nice bunch of cracked pepper in there. And then the last thing we're going to add, to give it a little bit more acidity, is some lemon. Nice lemon right here. Now here's a trick at home when you're cutting up lemons. So to get the maximum amount of juice out of it, cut it down the side like that, and then the other side as well. I'm gonna pick the seeds out. And now I'm gonna squeeze these two right into the pot. In it goes. Okay, throwing peels and everything right in there this time. And then the core, I'm gonna squeeze through my hand here. This fancy sieve that I picked up. Was given to me. And there we go. Just dry my hand slightly. Give that a stir. Now we're gonna let this cook away. I'm gonna turn it down just a touch. We're gonna let it cook away until some of that liquid reduces and it turns into sort of a jam consistency. Now we'll be back later in the show to pull together buttermilk pancakes with buttered honey syrup and also baked eggs with spinach bacon and tomato jam. But first, right after the break, we're getting out of the studio. You'll want to stick around for that. As promised, we're out on location. I'm at Arbutus RV with Jim. Jim, how are you, sir?
Excellent. Welcome to Arbutus. Thanks for coming here today.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me.
Recipes with us is awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about today's recipe because we're going gourmet a little bit here.
So, am I. I see the scallops there.
Absolutely.
Got me excited already.
Prosciutto wrapped scallops. We're going to put a little grilled potato in there because you need a little bit of starch, right? Especially when you're camping.
Yes.
And then we're going to serve that with a beet salad, a little mint beet salad, some balsamic. So the first thing we want to do is build a few skewers. So if you want to do the honors.
Okay. So through the side, eh?
Yeah, just through the side. That'll help keep the prosciutto on.
Okay.
Like I said, they're already cooked potatoes. This is a great way. So like let's say yesterday you guys didn't eat all the boiled potatoes from the night before. Bring them along, yeah. Put them in the fridge in your RV and bring them along, right? We'll season these guys up with a little bit of salt. See if I can get a wasp in there too. Here you go. Didn't want any. And then some fresh cracked pepper on top. And then I like to use the pan spray again. It gives it even coating and it won't stick on the grill, right, as we go. There we are. We've got it on a super high heat. Okay. You really want these scallops to get a nice char, cook like a sear almost on either side on the grill, and then flip them over, but you don't want to overcook them because scallops turn into little like rubber balls. They become like kind of chewing gum. So you'll notice I have a pan on as well.
Right.
I want to reduce, because we're going gourmet, we're not just doing your average, hot dogs and hamburgers on the barbecue here. We want to reduce, I'm going to reduce a little balsamic.
Okay, that's a hot pan.
Yeah, we want it nice and hot. We don't want to be standing here cooking all day either, right? So in we go. Done. And then the second part of our dish today is we have some cooked beets here. Okay. So let's fire those in the bowl. And if you wouldn't mind tearing up some lovely mint here. Mint. I'll crack some pepper into the bowl.
Now, do you take just the leaf?
Yeah, just the leaves and nice rustic. Like you kind of want a nice, fairly big chunk. You see the beets are cut kind of small, and if you get a bite of beet and mint at the same time, it'll be, they'll marry well together. Okay. Balsamic. Tie it together with our garnish that will be coming up here in a second. And then just a really good olive oil, something you can kind of see by the color here. It's a pretty deep green, so it's going to have some grassy kind of flavor to it and nice and earthy. All right, let's give these guys a little flip over here and see how they look. Look at that. So we got beautiful grill marks on there. Getting that sear that we're looking for. All right, again, nice.
Those are local scallops, I presume?
Yeah, absolutely. Just north of here from Qualicum Beach. They're just gorgeous product, yeah. You want to try your hand at mixing a salad in the bowl there?
Better stand back.
Oh, I'm wearing black. I'm okay. I'm a little worried about you.
There's nothing.
All right, just give it one more mix just to make sure the beets are all the way through, and then we'll go to the plate with this guy.
Nice color.
Yeah, gorgeous, hey? Plateware is so important these days, too.
It's going to make the neighbors jealous if they come to see.
I know, right? Well, this is the problem. This is the only problem with the campsite. Yeah, they start smelling good, and then next thing you know, you're making friends everywhere.
Well, that's the thing about when you're RVing is you do make a lot of friends.
Yeah, that you do, right?
There's quite a difference between going to a hotel is how many people you meet when you go to a hotel.
True.
Not very many.
Yeah, no,
you're RVing, they're all in your campsite.
Yeah, because everybody wants to borrow something. That's the problem, especially if you roll up in one of these rigs here. They're like, oh, or they're checking it out. That's what I find. I love that.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's like going to an open house, right?
Yeah, see what the Joneses got.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, our scallops are just about done. Really, like, you can eat scallops raw, right? Like, they're like that's the nice thing about shellfish, a bit like oysters and so on. So you definitely don't want to overcook them. You know, keep them a little bit pink inside, or a little bit sort of opaque inside, I guess is a better term for it.
Okay.
Our balsamic's still reducing away here. I like to let that go for a little while longer. But let's see how she looks on the plate here. Check the other grill marks. Looks good. All right, then we'll give this guy a try here.
Just lay a little over the top.
Yeah, you'd want to reduce that a little bit more. So reducing it's just going to create a, a bit of a more intense flavor.
Okay.
But yeah, we just drizzle that around just a little bit like that. A couple on the scallops and the potato. Give it a couple nice cracks, fairly coarse grind. And there it is. Prosciutto wrapped scallops, hey?
Wow.
You want to dig in, or?
Yeah, let's give that a go.
Let's give it a whirl. Grab a fork. You got to try this beet salad. I'm not kidding. Beets and mint. I know.
Okay. I'm not a beet fan, but here I go.
You tore that mint very nicely.
Wow, very good. Honestly, I'm not a beet fan, but that's very, very good. Awesome.
Well, I'm going to let you dig into the first scallop while I take us back to the old commercial.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah, I'm in.
Jim and I are going to keep finishing up these scallops. We'll be back right after this.
Awesome.
Yeah. Back to our kitchen. We're working on buttermilk pancakes with buttered honey syrup and also baked eggs with spinach, bacon, and tomato jam. So, for those of you that aren't super keen on the sweet for breakfast, this is the alternative right here. So, first thing we want to do, got a lovely muffin tin here. Just going to spray it with a little bit of non-stick spray, because this is going to be the vessel for our baked eggs here. Now, the bacon I referred to a little bit earlier is actually prosciutto. So this is a fancy Italian bacon. Tastes delicious, got a wonderful saltiness, and we're going to use this to line our muffin tins. It's going to do two things. It's going to help us get that egg out of there afterwards and add a whole whack of flavors. So we love bacon. There we go. This is a great thing for parties because you can make, a dozen ahead of time and just have them ready to go. So while you're making your pancakes, you're simply going to pop these in the oven to rewarm them. Now, there's our bacon. Just going to chiffonade a little bit of spinach here. Fancy word, chiffonade here, just for, means cut in strips, basically, of our spinach. Okay, in they go. Split that up evenly. Did you know that white hens typically lay white eggs? And hens with sort of reddish feathers, I guess, they lay the brown eggs. Thought that was pretty interesting little fact. Now, quickly crack these in. Try that at home if you want, the one-handed crack, or stick to the two-handed method, whichever you prefer. And I'm going to show you just how quickly this is to get into the oven here, because we now just have to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Just a touch of salt, because the salt's already, or the prosciutto's already a little bit salty. Fresh cracked pepper, and then we can go straight into the oven. There we are. Beautiful orange yolks. You can tell these are free run. Just look incredible. Color, the green color of the spinach looks amazing. Bam, into a 400-degree oven. And while that's cooking for about 15 minutes or so, let's get cooking. Let's get working on our pancakes here. A little touch of oil. Let it dance around a bit. And then we'll grab our batter and get a few pancakes going here. So it's had a nice chance to rest. Probably, it's rested for probably about a half an hour or so. And we'll just pour them in gently into a nice warm pan, nice hot pan. There we are. This is a handy little pouring bowl here. Again, fewer dishes for me to clean up afterwards. I'm happy with that. More stuff happening here. There's lots going on. We've got the buttered honey syrup. So the honey's nice and warm now. And what we want to do is start incorporating that butter. I've got cold butter that's been diced sitting here on the counter. And I'm just going to fire that into that warm honey and making sure to whisk it all around nicely. Golden color, Honey is an amazing, amazing product. We have beehives on the roof at the restaurant I work at Vista 18. We have 11 hives this year with about 10,000 bees in each one. It's incredible. And now because we use local honey, it's helped with my allergies. I eat tons of local honey now, and I noticed that because they're feeding on all those flowers and so on from our sort of local region, it's really helped with my allergies this year. It's amazing. So you can see it's kind of starting to change color. That honey is starting to incorporate in there. Now the key to pancakes is you want to start seeing these bubbles popping up there, which is perfect. That's exactly what we've got. Put one more knob of butter in there because we like butter, and then get into our handy little spatula here for flipping. Here we go. This is the shot. There we are. Look at that. Now the biggest pancake ever made had over 2 million calories and weighed close to 2.5 tons, if you can imagine that. Unreal. Manchester, England, they did that. Would like to have been at that pancake breakfast, I'll tell you. More stirring. Look how light and fluffy those pancakes are. We got that golden brown color on there, which is exactly what we were looking for. And they're puffing up. You can see them starting to rise. Okay, once that butter is all fully incorporated into our honey, we'll turn off the heat and we can start going to the plate here. Again, we really want to whisk that butter in there. We don't want it to separate. We want it to incorporate with that honey so it gets nice and sweet. I use unsalted butter. I use salted butter in this case because I do want that salty, sweet sort of flavor in there. Let's check these bad boys again. Starting to look good. That one there needs a little bit more. Okay. And off to our plate with the pancakes. We'll put the sort of least appealing looking one on the bottom. That's a trick of the trade right there. And then the next one. Make a nice stack here. There we are. Pour a little bit of this buttered honey syrup on top. There we go. Not too much, we don't want to overpower it. And then maybe just a little garnish of some fruit. And a nice strawberry here. Just quarter that up nicely. Put it around. And what would pancakes be without just a touch of icing sugar? There we are, the pancakes. Now, through the magic of television, we do have some baked eggs ready. And I'll just pull them up from down below here. Like I said, you can do these in advance, and you see how nicely they turn out. That bacon kind of crisps up and shrivels down. The eggs cook nicely. The yolks are still just a little bit soft, so they're perfect. And let's get those to a plate now as well. This plate right here. Had to pre-cook some hash browns, because what's bacon and eggs without hash browns, right? We'll put a few of these on the plate. Just nicely seasoned with salt and pepper, and I've put some fresh herbs on there. I love fresh herbs on my breakfast potatoes. Again, this is the savory portion of our breakfast. Yeah. Now let's see how these bad boys pop out of here. Look at that. Super simple. 1, 2. Oh, that looks amazing. Now that's my kind of breakfast right there. Last but not least, you remember we were working on the tomato jam before? I have it right here. See, I was telling you I was looking for that consistency, sort of the jammy sort of texture. And there we have it. Just plunk some of that right on here. Sort of put it right on top. Maybe a little bit around the sides here for adding a little bit of color. And all our friends and family and so on will be oohing and awing over how beautiful this dish looks. And there you have it. Buttermilk pancakes with buttered honey syrup, and also baked eggs with spinach, bacon, and tomato jam. Now, what better way to enjoy that special breakfast than with a choice beverage? With me today, Garret Schack from Clyde's Classic Lounge. How you doing, buddy?
I'm well, thank you.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Yes.
So, breakfast, drinking.
Yeah, it's
Sounds good to me.
maybe not for everyone. So we kind of usually go a little bit on the lower alcohol side of things. It's always nice to do sparkling wine. Mimosas are very popular with some strawberries, some fruit in there. We're going to do one that doesn't have so much of the fruit side, but it's got a lot of interesting flavors that are refreshing and the kind of breakfast thing. So start off, we're going to use Prosecco. I like to put a little bit, this is the vessel that we're going to be drinking out of these glasses.
So Prosecco's like an Italian sparkling wine, right? A little bit frizzante, kind of smaller bubbles sort of idea.
Just delicious stuff. So
very nice.
That's gonna sit there because we're gonna shake and pour into that, and then top up again with Prosecco. So
perfect.
Start off with a little bit of gin. This is one where you can choose to go with or without the gin.
Okay.
Depending on what you want to do. We do this cocktail at Clive's Classic Lounge. This is called the Sparkling Violet.
So this is sort of a before 12 or after 12 rendition, right?
Exactly, yeah. And it's got Aperol, which is an Italian kind of bitter sweet liqueur, and then Giffard Violet liqueur. Very floral.
Nice. Cool. Love it.
And just to balance that out, because you've got a bunch of sweet in both of those things. A little bit of bitter, but more on the sweet side. Yep. We're going to add a little bit of fresh lemon juice. Balance this out a little.
So about like
fresh squeeze,
ounce or so?
About 3/4 of an ounce per cocktail. So since we're doing 2, we're going to do 1.5 ounces.
Perfect.
Measure it out. Always using freshly squeezed juice. It's just
it's so much better, isn't it?
Best stuff, yeah. And that's that. Very simple. So next thing we're going to do is just add a little bit of ice.
There we go.
And give it a small shake. Now we're not really trying to get a lot of dilution. We just want to mix it up. So very short shake on that one.
Nice.
And then, strain the rest into here. I like to use a fine strainer. It just kind of holds out the little citrus particles, the pulp.
Yeah, there you go. So nice smooth drink, right?
Yeah, exactly. Get in there, nice kind of peachy color.
Beauty.
And the rest we just top up with a little bit more of the Prosecco.
More Prosecco, and away we go.
Now the reason I put the Prosecco in the glass to start before, it prevents it from getting really fizzy and overfilling if you've got just a little bit in the base, I find.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then top.
And these are the little garnish guys here?
Those are them, yeah.
Here, how do you set that on there?
Perfect. So we usually let this kind of slide right down. This is a fun looking cocktail. Just kind of slide it right in. Excellent.
Cool. Well, let's give this a little sip and then dig into some food here. Oh, it tastes like breakfast.
It does.
It's delicious. Okay, I'm going for pancakes first. You want to try out the baked eggs?
Right here.
All right, here you go. Nice and fluffy. I can't wait to try that honey syrup with it.
Oh, that's good.
Buttermilk just does something in pancakes, you know? I'm actually a little bit worried about you right now because you pair breakfast with cocktails a little bit too well. You and I are going to be having a chat after the show here.
Could be trouble.
Check out our website where you'll find information on today's show and maybe a few surprises. I'm Garret Schack. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to savor the flavor. Awesome. Yeah.